speak, I think of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride because my mind is going a million miles a minute over a track, but I'm pretty much sitting still while it's all happening to me. It's tough. It's a symbol. It's a symbol that makes me feel more comfortable when I'm speaking. Now, I'm a symbol. Yeah, I'm a symbol. And you're interpreters of symbols. Now, you may say that you're not doing this, but I know that you're judging me, just as I'm standing up here. You're looking at me, you're saying age, you're thinking gender, you're thinking apparel, you're thinking shape. What have I missed? Did I say gender? You're taking all these different physical appearances that I have, and whether you want to do it or not, you're extracting something about my character. So this is the symbol of something that's intrinsic, okay? The outside details, denotation. But your feelings about me, that's called connotation. And those are really important because the stronger the symbol, the more you're going to feel attracted to it or repulsed by it. You know how you see people and they're kind of neutral. You don't feel an attraction, you don't feel a repulsion. Well, symbols, particularly in this day and age, have really strong attractions. Now, I feel sorry for you all because you are bombarded by symbols. 24-hour news cycles. Everywhere you go, you see different things that are calling out to you, whether it be commercial advertising or it be something relating to politics or civics. So when you're going through this kind of experience, you have to stop and ask yourself, okay, what's important to me? And do I have any filters at all? When I was growing up, we didn't need filters. Life was really simple. 3 television stations, a daily paper, a metropolitan daily paper on Sunday. If you missed Walter Cronkite at 7:30, you had to go the whole rest of the evening and morning until the morning paper came up to find out what was going on. It's not like today where you can flip out your magic phone. So symbols were much more important to us. And I want you to know how important symbols are. They're protected by the Constitution. Now, there's not an amendment that says we guarantee you the right of symbolizing. That's not in there. But what is in there is freedom of speech. And all of our speech is symbolic, okay? The sounds I make form syllables. The syllables form words. The words form sentences. And you're processing this without even thinking about it. That's what's amazing. So sometimes you go through life without being aware that anything is attracting you at all. Now I want to go, with regard to the Constitution, there's one other thing that I want to mention. In addition to protecting our rights of speech and flashing symbols out to each other, and keep in mind, you're really interpreting symbols as I'm speaking. The other thing it does is it gives us a right to petition to redress our grievances. It's in the First Amendment. The petition to redress our grievances. Why do you think that's in there? Well, I don't have the answer to that question. But I wanted to tell you about the simpler time when I was going to school. It was really big when we did the Pledge of Allegiance. And things changed during our period of time. For a while, it was under God, then it wasn't under God, and then it was under God again. I don't know why. Now, when you went to school and you did the Pledge of Allegiance, did you just stand there? Did you hold your hand over your heart? Did you realize that that's a particular symbolic gesture? Or did you just do it rote because everybody else was doing it that way? We did it like this. I don't know why. Okay, we raised our right hand. And I thought afterwards, it must have had something to do with raising your right hand, putting your hand on the Bible, and swearing to tell the whole truth. Now, before my time in America, they saluted the flag this way.
Really?
Now, if I did that, you'd think I was the sociopath supremacist, you know. And that's why they stopped doing it, because Hitler had co-opted it.
Yeah.
You know, during the early 40s, the children were still doing that. But when Hitler's people started doing that, they stopped doing it. Now, when we were in school, we did some things that were different than they do now. Did you have to sing Faith of Our Fathers? No. See, today, verboten. It's a religious song. We sang that when I was in grammar school. What about, "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea." Did you have to memorize that? Yeah, you did. Okay, you did. Okay. I find that, the imagery is just beautiful. You talk about a symbolic song, that's got it all. It's got this beautiful imagery of what America is, and it even crowns it with brotherhood. Now, in other lines, it talks about how to do brotherhood, how to actually find some sort of conviction in yourself and accept other people. So it gives you the guideline to do it. I'm not sure why it's not our national anthem, to be honest with you. Now, the other symbol that was really important to me was this. And in the time when I was growing up, it seemed like religious observance was more important than inquiry into what was going on in government or in politics. And I remember genuflecting, getting down on knees, and looking up to the tabernacle where it was either really there or symbolically it was there. Something with a farther vision than I had, something with a much deeper understanding and sense of forgiveness that I had. One day my grandfather asked me to go to the cemetery with him to see the grave of his widow, my grandmother. And he fell to his knees and he petitioned God. He wanted his wife back. I'll never forget that gesture. And whenever I see a grown man kneeling, I think of that and how powerful that experience was. When a man bends down in an attempt to petition to redress his grievances. Now, America is an incredible nation. There's no nation on earth that's been filled with more examples of conscience, of sacrifice and commitment than the United States. And it's almost like you got to turn it over to see the other side, because at the same time, our nation has been filled with deception, hypocrisy, and prejudice. How do you put the two together? There's one word in the Pledge of Allegiance that really gets me. I love it. It's indivisible. Okay, and that's what a symbol is. A symbol is supposed to draw you in because it's so singular. It's so strong in its unity. But when I think of being indivisible, I think of something really small. And so wouldn't it be great if instead of feeling so large that when somebody is different from me, that instead of reacting, I could take a moment and try to understand where that person is coming from. If you're small enough, you could be a little stitch in this flag. You could make the red a deeper red. You could make the fabric a much stronger fabric. But it takes making yourself really small. I dare you to do it. Thank you.
Vince, you brought me to tears, and that means you're a very powerful speaker. When you were speaking today about symbolism, I love the part that you were trying to help us understand what that meant. And I was really getting involved in symbolism with you. And then you took a right-hand turn just slightly. And you were talking about so many other things that were just as strong and interesting as symbolism. And you're one of those speakers, you have the gift of speech naturally. And I believe all of us could agree that we could listen to you for hours and not realize how much time has gone by. You're very engaging, you're very genuine, and you have a lot to say, and you're very opinionated. And I could see and hear all of that in this wonderful speech that you gave us this afternoon. It's hard to find fault with someone like you. And I was really looking very hard. Because I want you to continue to improve on something that you've already mastered. And the one thing that I could say that you might want to consider next time, and I'm looking forward to that next time, get rid of the lectern. You had great fluid body language as you went to the flag and lovingly touched it to express what you were talking about. And you would move a little bit over here, but when you moved a little bit over here, you tended to do this, to kind of go around it a little bit. So to me, you're telling me this is a barrier that you're going around. So if the leg turn was to the side, you would have that free-flowing movement from side to side without interruption. And another thing I thought, perhaps your ending could have been just a tad different. And by that I mean, you started out with symbolism. You should have ended it with symbolism. And that would have given us the beginning, the body, and the ending. But those are so minor, with such a great speech you gave us today. And I want to hear more, because we need more of those kinds of speeches today in the world that we have, to give us some inspiration, to give us a little bit of hope, to give us a better understanding of what America is all about. Because I believe it gets diluted and misrepresentation and forgotten in today's world. So thank you, Vince, very much.